Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we will be talking about Invest 94L, but more importantly Invest 95L that the National Hurricane Center is currently monitoring. Now Invest 94L currently has a low shot of development over the next 2 to 7 days, and the National Hurricane Center currently says that a broad area of low pressure over the western Caribbean Sea is producing widespread but disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity while it moves west-northwestward at around 15 miles per hour. Some development of the system is possible over the northwestern Caribbean Sea or over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico during the next few days, but at most, the National Hurricane Center is giving this a 30% chance of development. And you can see as it tracks into that same general region where we saw Alberto form in just last week or so. But more importantly, here's Invest 95L. This is where it currently is, out in the central to eastern main development region of the tropical Atlantic. And as you can see, it will just continue to propagate to the west towards the central and southern lesser Antilles. So the National Hurricane Center gives us a medium 60% chance of development over the next 2 days and a high 80% chance of development over the next 7 days. They say currently a tropical wave located several hundred miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands continues to produce disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive and development of the system is anticipated. A tropical depression or tropical storm is likely to form this weekend, several hundred miles east of the Windward Islands, while the system moves westward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Interest in the Lesser Antilles should monitor the progress of the system. And this is really the system that we'll be focusing on as the National Hurricane Center has indicated here, and as we move into this weekend and through next week. So let's currently look at tropical tidbits to see what Invest 94L looks like. We won't really spend too much time on this. As you can see from the infrared imagery loop, that it is still very, very disorganized. It's getting right towards the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, not the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, starting to get towards the Nicaragua area of Central America and heading up towards the Yucatan Peninsula, which is currently like up here. And it's going to continue in this west-northwest direction towards the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, but it really doesn't have much of a shot of development. And you can see the general model guidance shows it's pretty in good agreement with where it's going to go. It's going to go basically to as I said, to the northwest, west-northwest, and into the same general region of Mexico that Alberto impacted and brought heavy rain, flooding, and storm surge to just a week ago. Intensity guidance is really not all that impressive. Most of the intensity guidance models keep it below tropical storm status. One really gets it into stronger tropical storm status if you get into weaker tropical storm status, but most likely will not really become much of anything at all. Now, Invest 95L, on the other hand, you can see currently Tropical Tidbits has it at 25 knots, which is 30 miles per hour, and 1,009 millibars as its minimum central pressure. But you can see right off the bat, looking at the infrared imagery loop, that Invest 95L already has a decent spin to it, with possibly some low-level circulation going on and starting to form, take shape, and convection blowing up to the north and all around even towards the center. So a pretty healthy-looking disturbance that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring for what at this point is pretty likely tropical cyclone development. So looks like we will most likely have a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm, by the time this weekend is over, and we will likely have our next name on the list, which is Beryl, the B-name storm, from this system as we get into Saturday and more likely Sunday. And we will just continue to monitor the system as we head into next week. Now, what I really want to show, which, by the way, you can already just take a quick look at the intensity guidance before I even click on it, but you can see that there, which I will dive into in a little bit more detail in a little bit here. But the general model track guidance right off the bat is already pressing, showing that all of the models are showing very, very good, tight agreement of where the system is going to go. It's going to most likely continue to track to the west, cross over the southern Lesser Antilles and into the Caribbean Sea, where it will track through the eastern central Caribbean. Now, the main, obviously, in this time of year, we're in the end of June, beginning of July. The biggest things that these types of systems really struggle to combat to really become more major tropical cyclones is, of course, dry air and wind shear, which this system will have to contend with, especially the dry air, especially right now. However, it will likely, at the very least, be a tropical storm, and it looks like even potentially our first hurricane of the season, according to the model intensity guidance right now for Invest 95L. So you can see it has Invest 95L reaching that tropical storm status, but majority have it reaching it within, honestly, the next 24 hours, which is pretty impressive. So maybe we could even see it become a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm, by the time we get towards the end of the day tomorrow on Friday or early Saturday. Now, majority of the models continue to have it strengthen and get to hurricane status by the time we get into likely the beginning of next week or towards the middle of next week, and even a bunch get it towards category 2, category 3 status. So category 3 status is the beginning of major hurricane intensity at 115 miles per hour. Now, one model has it getting all the way to strong category 4 status, which that, especially right now, take with a grain of salt, because we really don't know. At this point, it's not even officially a tropical depression, and it's officially not even a tropical cyclone. It's not even named yet. So let's really not take that all that seriously. Now, could this system, at the very least, become our first hurricane of this year's hurricane season? Sure. It looks like a majority of models already have it getting to that intensity, to at least category 1. And beyond that, we'll just have to see if we get even stronger towards a category 2 or, God forbid, a major hurricane. But, you know, the environment it's in with all the Saharan dust and dry air and wind shear that it will have to combat as it continues westward towards the Lesser Antilles and towards the Caribbean. That's a huge question mark on whether it'll be able to overcome that and become an even stronger system. So let's take a look at the models, and let's look at the GFS, the American model first. Let's go to just the general, all of the North Atlantic right now. This is Invest 94L over here, which really likely won't really become anything. And then Invest 95L is, I believe, right over here. The GFS is marked. So let's continue to move this forward in time. And here we go. And you can see over here, Invest 94L crosses the Yucatan, doesn't really become much of anything, but Invest 95L, here you go. Invest 95L, that's what you really, we're really monitoring, what we really want to focus on. GFS has it strengthening and becoming quite a strong system. It has its pressure continuing to fall, getting down to 980 millibars. This is by 12Z on June 27th, which is, I believe, the third, or sorry, what am I saying? No, this run is 12Z today, June 27th. This is by Forgus Hour 90, valid 6Z Monday, July 1st, so this upcoming Monday. It already has it just to the east of the southern Lesser Antilles by 6Z, which is around 2 a.m. on Monday, July 1st at 980 millibars. You can see it's also spinning up yet another system right behind that, maybe, but we'll see. But it continues to have it strengthen, get even stronger, down getting into the low 970 millibar range, and you can see as it continues, we'll just keep it going further in time. Way far. This is getting way far out, really, towards the end of next week, into the weekend. It continues to move it into the Gulf of Mexico and then into northern Mexico. But really, what we're focusing on is, well, the GFS very much so likes the system to form into our next named tropical cyclone. The Beryl, which is the B name, the second name on the list, and has the system possibly getting to a pretty strong intensity, at least pressure-wise. So we'll definitely have to monitor this as we get it through this weekend and into next week. That will be very, very interesting to watch. Now, the European model, let's take a look at the Euro. This is, yet again, here's Invest 94L. This is Invest 95L. We'll move this forward in time. Euro doesn't really have much of anything to do with Invest 94L. brings just more enhanced rainfall to Mexico, which they really don't need after Alberto last week and all the flooding it caused. Now, the Euro is a lot less bullish intensity-wise with Invest 95L. However, it still has it strengthening, and I mean, this is a 60 run, so it's not even a full run from early this morning. The 12Z run hasn't even come through yet, which is kind of strange. So let's bring this back to the 0Z run from like early this morning or overnight last night, and you can see it continues to not really have it strengthening all that much, but it has it going in the same general direction the GFS has it going in. But yeah, pressure wise, it just keeps it in the over 1,000 millibars and keeps it pretty weak until it gets into the central to western Caribbean, I guess, and it goes into Nicaragua and gets down towards 990 millibars. So that is what the European model is showing for these systems, and especially 95L. And also, quick note, the Euro doesn't really have that other system the GFS was showing right behind 95L, this little area. Not really showing it form into much of anything like the GFS was showing at this point in time. Now let's look at the Canadian model, the CMC model. And yet again, here's Invest 95L, here's Invest 94L. Canadian model does not show 94L really doing much of anything, just bringing enhanced rainfall to Mexico. Looks like the Canadian model is much more in line with the GFS model, still to a weaker degree, but still has it approaching and going through the Lesser Antilles as likely a strong tropical storm, if not maybe a weak hurricane, as it gets into the Caribbean Sea, and it continues to show it strengthening and moving much more just directly west through the Caribbean towards the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, north of Nicaragua, and bringing more heavy rain towards more southern Mexico and the Yucatan. Now, the Canadian model is also, yet again, a lot more bullish, just like the GFS, with another tropical system forming behind 95L way out into towards next week. That maybe, we'll see, maybe the National Hurricane Center will mark as an area of interest as we get towards later this weekend into the beginning of next week. But the Canadian model, much like the GFS, has a system forming behind 95L to a much weaker degree as well. But that may be something to watch as we get into next week. Yet another tropical disturbance to watch to become maybe our C-named storm. So that is what all the models are showing for, especially Invest 95L and 94L. Now, 2024 Atlantic hurricane season again is underway. We're 27 days into the Atlantic hurricane season, and we've had our first named storm Alberto, which formed June 19th through the 20th. It was a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. 993 millibars was its lowest pressure. It had a total of 4 fatalities and caused, looks like, less than $10 million in damage. Now, I've never really seen that before, really, with a damage total, or at least a big first damage total with a tropical system. So maybe it caused just under $10 million in damage at this point through Mexico and Texas. But that is so that was our first named storm. You can see all the agencies calling for a pretty above average Atlantic hurricane season this year, with likely over 20 named storms and multiple hurricanes, if not over 10 hurricanes maybe, and anywhere from 3 to 7 majors. Now, but at this point, we've only had one named storm, and it looks like we'll have our second named storm soon, Beryl. The C named storm is Chris, so, maybe we'll see Chris next week if the National Hurricane Center marks that system behind 95L, which likely will become Beryl, and maybe that system will become Chris towards the end of next week and next weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if that becomes anything at all. But I will keep you guys updated on Invest 95L, likely soon to become a tropical depression, tropical storm. Our next name on the list is Beryl. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, helpful. If you did, like the video, comment down below. How strong do you think 95L could get? Do you guys think it will likely become a hurricane? Maybe, do you guys even think bullish enough that it could become our first major hurricane of the season? What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let's have a nice lively chat down there in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content and want more just like it as we continue through the rest of the hurricane season. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.